Okay, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. In this video, something a bit different. I'm reacting to another bus industry video. I'm currently on holiday, so I've not been at work this week. Off again next week. So I'm off for 2 weeks, so I'm currently on holiday. So I'm reacting to a video which sort of ties in all the other videos I've made just recently, like the body language, the paranormal. You may have noticed there's some paranormal investigations or ghost hunting videos in my library, and I've been reacting to other paranormal videos looking at the body language. So this particular video sort of combines everything. It is called Spooky Tales from the Bus Industry. So that's what we're going to have a look at. Please do hit the like and subscribe buttons and leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. I have no idea what to expect with this, none at all. The bus industry isn't really something that you connect automatically to the paranormal, so it'll be interesting to see. Also, consider becoming a member. I am currently working on a video for the members. It's an entire route videoing myself, how I do the job and stuff like that, with minimal editing. Obviously, I have to edit out the people getting on and off the bus, but yeah, essentially, there's not going to be any cuts in it. So you'll see exactly how I do the job. So consider becoming a member. And check out the links in the description below. There are some things there, particularly if you're becoming a bus driver or you are a bus driver, that will really benefit you. And even if you're a bus enthusiast, now we're coming into the winter months, some of the things there will really benefit you as well. So check out the links in the description below. And now let's have a look at spooky tales from the bus industry. Buses and ghosts, spooky tales
As
from the
many
bus
as
industry.
69% of people in the UK believe in the paranormal, while 38% believe they have experienced paranormal activity themselves. But whatever your beliefs, there's no denying that the living are outnumbered by the dead. When somebody speaks of ghostly happenings, you imagine some ruined castle atop a hill, the scene of some ancient battle, or some vast isolated country house once owned by a murderous duke who roams the corridors for eternity. What we don't expect is for the paranormal to impede on our daily lives. We don't expect them to pop up in everyday places, such as on public transport
True.
or whilst you go about your job. But the following two true stories prove that they can and do quite often do this.
True stories. True stories. Okay. Let's see if they're true, shall we? Let's see if we believe these stories. Presence in the dark.
Being a bus driver normally means that you work all kinds of shifts. You'll work early in the mornings, in the daytime, and late at night. I came across the following story many years ago on an online forum, and several people on the forum had admitted it had happened to them, but alas, it's not a first-hand story, so you can choose to believe it or not. It involved a bus that had dropped off its last passengers and was heading back empty to the depot. The driver had switched all the interior lights off, and something caught his attention.
Thank you, driver.
Anybody else upstairs?
No, just me. Nice
Right.
one.
Good night.
No.
Hello?
The report was that the driver had been driving back to the garage with the bus in darkness and had felt somebody standing next to him at the bottom of the stairs next to the cab. In his peripheral vision, he noticed somebody stood next to him, a dark shadow. Yet when he turned his head, there was nobody there. This made the driver feel rather uneasy, so he switched the interior lights on for the rest of the journey, and the feeling disappeared. So where did this story happen then? Some isolated winding moorland lane in the middle of nowhere 50 years ago? No, this actually happened in the 2000s. And the bus in question certainly wasn't on a country road. It was on the M27 motorway. In fact, it was a Volvo Olympian of the same batch as pictured here, owned by Stagecoach South. Which particular bus it was has been lost in the mists of time. But it was heading back from Southampton to Portsmouth, empty, along the unlit section of the M27 after dark. So that story, as I said, was unverified, but this next one is a first-hand.
So I have a pretty good guess of what's happened here. And tell me, drivers, in the comments below if you've had this. You'll note the driver didn't go and check to see if the bus was actually empty. He took that woman's word for it. So how many of us have done that? I know I have. So what happens, and this is what I predict or what I think has happened here, is the driver's come to the end of the route. He is running like back to the garage, hasn't checked the bus, or even if he had checked the bus, it's quite easy to miss someone. Gone downstairs, turned all the lights off he's gone. But there's someone else on the bus. I've had this, and what people generally do in this situation is they don't call out. They somehow quietly walk down the stairs, whether you just don't hear them because you're not expecting it or whatever, right? But as they're walking down the walkway towards the driver, what you see is their reflection in the windscreen, and it's very ghostly. And it's caught me out a couple of times, and I imagine other drivers have had the same. Let me know in the comments below. So I think that there was someone on the bus, and that's what he's seen, the reflection coming towards him in the windscreen. And it is really, really very spooky when that happens. I reckon that's what's happened. He's gone back to the garage, the drivers are chatting, he's said what's happened, and they've all said how spooky and ghostly it is, and that story's just got taken up by someone else possibly, and this is the story you've got. Was there a ghost on the bus? No. Was there a person on the bus? Most likely. Most likely. Obviously, I don't know. I wasn't there, but that happens, and that's exactly what it looks like. So, yeah, that's what I think has happened there. So, ghostly? No, I don't think so. Let's have a little look at the next one.
And account, and I experienced it myself.
The last passenger.
Back in the early 2000s, when I used to work for Stagecoach East Kent, I used to regularly drive the 8 route, which was the Thanet to Canterbury service. The last 8 of the night terminated at Birchington instead of Canterbury around midnight. But in those days before trackers, if you had nobody on at Westgate, which was the preceding village, and you got to the traffic lights on the outskirts of Westgate, you would carry on straight across back to the garage instead of turning right and heading down the A28 to Birchington. So as you left Westgate, you would be checking the...
Has he just said that he cuts the route, that he used to cut the route? Lost mileage? Naughty, naughty.
Interior of the bus. You'd check the lower deck in the mirror, and you'd look up into the periscope to check the upper deck. And sometimes when you looked up there, you would see somebody sitting halfway along on the off side of the bus. That's on the driver's side. Now this would fill you with displeasure because you would have to then turn right, go down the A28 and complete the whole route into Birchington. There would be no early sneaky finish, unfortunately. So you'd go down the A28 and you'd arrive at Birchington Square and you would shout out, "Last stop, all change," and nobody would come downstairs. You'd look in the periscope but you couldn't see anybody sat upstairs. So I would go upstairs to investigate. It was not unknown for drunks to fall asleep. But the upper deck was empty. The passenger, who I had seen clearly through the periscope, had disappeared. The buses in question, more often than not, were the MCW Metro buses, which had been new to East Kent in the late 1980s. And it wasn't just me this happened to several of my colleagues. In fact, it became such a common occurrence it was known as Mr. Nobody at Birchington. So what was this? Was it some obstruction? A cobweb, maybe, in the periscope, tricking us all, making us think that there was somebody upstairs when there wasn't? Or was it something else? Thank you for watching.
Okay, so this one again, the periscopes were terrible. When I first started, we had periscopes on the double decks, and they're really, really bad to see and not very clear at all. So it would be very easy to miss-see. And even today with the CCTV, which is a million times clearer than the periscopes were, sometimes you'll look up there and it'll look like there's someone up there. What it actually is there's shadows and the shapes of the seats, and it misleads your eyes because your brain automatically thinks you're on a bus. There could be someone up there, so that's what you're looking for. You're looking for someone up there. So the shadows and the shapes of the seats can quite often make it look like there's someone up there when there isn't. So that's what that is. Particularly, as he said, he is using a periscope. There's absolutely no way you can get a clear view of the upper deck through a periscope. It's next to impossible. So was it a ghost? No. Most likely shadows and the shapes of the seats and your own brain expecting to see someone up there. So yeah, interesting. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think there is any spooky tales on buses? Do you think that it's possible for ghosts to travel round on buses? For me, it's kind of unlikely. I say that buses are full of electrics, and people do sadly die on buses. Um, so possibly, when you consider all life is electrical energy going round inside your brain and your body, and when you die, literally all that is that electrical energy leaving your body. Now, energy doesn't die; it gets absorbed by other forms of energy and electricity. There's a lot of electrics on a bus, so there is no scientific proof for the paranormal, but equally there's no scientific proof against the paranormal. So not having proof doesn't mean that the paranormal doesn't exist. It just means they haven't found evidence for it. So is it possible for a ghost to be on a bus? Yeah. Were these ghost stories? Well, they were ghost stories. Were either of them ghosts? Most likely not. There are explanations for them. But again, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So yeah, that is it for this video. A bit of a different one, I know, but I hope you found it interesting. I was hoping for some better stories, to be honest, but it is what it is. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.